In this video, we're going to find out and learn how to write fractions as decimals. We've been working on fractions for the last few weeks, so we're going to see the relationship between fractions and decimals. We've got very important vocabulary that you already know, and it's the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. And you can see how each of those is represented with a fraction. So let's have a look at three of the examples, and let's see how we can use these fractions and decimals and how they're actually the same. They just have a different appearance. In the first exercise, we have three fractions added together. We have 6 tenths, 3 hundredths, and 1 thousandth. We can see that the denominator is different. We know that when we add fractions, we should have the same denominator, but in this case, we're going to have a look at how that changes using decimals. So let's have a look at the first one, 6 tenths. If we have a look at our place value using decimals, we'll see that the tenth is here. So if we have 6 tenths, all we have to do is put a 6 on the tenths. We move into the next fraction, we have 3 hundredths. So we look at the hundredths, we've got 3 of them, so we put number 3. And in the last one, we've got 1 thousandth. Therefore, we go into the thousands, we put the 1. There are no whole numbers in this set of fractions, so obviously in the units or wholes, we've got to put a 0 and the decimal number. So how we read these three fractions at the decimal will be like 0.631. Have a look at the next example. In this case, we have a much larger fraction, and we're going to see how that is divided into the different parts of the decimals. So we've got 124 thousandths. So we have broken that into the different parts, 124, each of them with denominator 1,000. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the 4,000 first. If we use exactly the same principle we used before, we'll use the 4 in the thousands. So we're going to put under the thousands number 4. The next one reads 20,000. If we have to put the 20 in, we will put 20, a 2 and a 0. So we're going to just put the 2. The 2 will come into the hundredths. And the next one is 100,000. If we were writing it on its own, it would be 100. So we're just going to put the 1 in the correct place, which is in the tenths. The easiest fraction to see is the 4,000. We can see where that value is going. But have a look at what happened with 20,000. If I reduce the zeros from each numerator and denominator, I can see 200. That's exactly what we've got, 200. So 20,000 is exactly the same as 200. This is how to prove that what we've done is correct. The next one will be 100,000. If I reduce 2 zeros in the numerator and denominator, the fraction remainder is 1/10. It actually works. It's 1 in the 10th place. So how will we read this number as a decimal? Will be 0 units, because there's no wholes, 0.124. In the last exercise, we'll have 2 fractions, and this time we don't have the denominator 10 or 100 or 1,000. So that's what we're going to try to get. I can see that my denominators are 5 and 50. So let's see what equivalent denominator we can get. We need to find a multiple that works for both. I can see that 50 is a multiple of 5. So I know that 50 is going to be a fraction that I'm going to use. But to be honest, 50 doesn't really work with my tenths or 100 or 1,000 in the denominator. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to use the denominator 100 and see what can we do with these two fractions. So how can I change 5 into the denominator 100? I know I have to multiply by 20. And remember, whatever we do to the top, we do to the bottom. So I have to do the same with the numerator. 2 multiplied by 20 would be 40. So 40 hundredths is equivalent to 2/5. For the next fraction, we have 50. So I know I have to multiply 50 by 2 to get the denominator 100. We got 2 multiplied by 50, 100. So we have to do the same with the numerator. We multiply by 2. The answer is 8. If we add fractions, we would have 48 hundredths. So if I have to locate that fraction into our decimals value, we look at 48 hundredths. Have to go into the hundredth. 48 would be 48 hundredths. If we read the whole number all together, we can see there are no whole numbers, therefore the answer will be 0.48, 48 hundredths. This is how to write fractions as decimals using this key vocabulary that we explained before.